Graham Potter deserves time to change things at Chelsea. Modern football has become a case of hire and fire when it comes to managers. Every owner wants that shiny new toy when things aren't going the right way, and Graham Potter should not become another one of those thrown to the side. The reason Potter was brought into Chelsea was because they were struggling. The players at his disposal were not performing even under the great Thomas Tuchel, and them things don't just change overnight. It takes time to mould a team in a manager's fashion, especially a disjointed one like this current Chelsea side. Potter done well at Brighton due to the fact he had transfer windows and a great recruitment team behind him in order to build a team in the way he saw football. The difference in the players in the Brighton midfield compared to Chelsea's are startling. At Brighton, Potter had power in Moses Caicedo. He had a player who was brilliant at ball retention in Alexis Mac Allister. A well-rounded midfield. It was a much more mobile setup to Chelsea's. It was moulded in the way he saw football. The current Chelsea midfield is a mixture of 3 or 4 managers' different visions. Potter has to wade through that and make the best thing he can from it. Managers are too often thrown to the side for bad results even though they took the team over for the same reasons. Players are more often than not shadowed from the blame, even though the common theme throughout seems to be them. Of course, Graham Potter is not exempt from criticism, but the talks of sacking the former Brighton man at the moment are extremely premature. The words of Thomas Tuchel from the beginning of the season ring shrill in the air: the same players are still at the club. Chelsea could push for Josip Juranovic due to his low price. Chelsea had always aimed to get a right back to provide cover for Reece James, but his injury has forced Chelsea into making the decision a bit sooner than they would have liked. James will miss up to 4 weeks of action or a setback in recovery from his knee injury, and Chelsea want to get a player in while he is out. Celtic defender Josip Juranovic is one of the names on the list, and his cheap price tag could be the reason Chelsea do end up making a move. According to Simon Phillips, Chelsea could push for Celtic defender Josip Juranovic to replace the injured Reece James. Juranovic was on a list of potential right-backs for Chelsea even before the World Cup. The Croatian was impressive in Qatar, and his ability to perform at that level on the grandest stage won't have gone unnoticed by Chelsea. There are other names on the list for Chelsea, but the price tags of those players are around £25 minus 30 million. Josip Juranovic is expected to cost around £10 million from Celtic. Chelsea are likely to want to do a deal like that on the cheap. The Enzo Fernandez deal is going to cost a lot of money, and to sort the backup right-back spot out for £10 million is an easy decision to make. The club are expected to make a move for their chosen right-back in the coming days, and Josip Juranovic is certainly a player to keep an eye on in that process. Romelu Lukaku confirms his desire to stay at Inter Milan. Romelu Lukaku has today confirmed his desire to stay at Inter Milan beyond this season. Romelu Lukaku's future has been a question on the minds of a lot in the last few weeks, and the Belgian striker has today came out and answered the question with aplomb. Chelsea are unlikely to want to bring Lukaku back to the club, but there is still the issue of what fee Inter Milan would have to pay. Chelsea paid £100 million for Lukaku last summer. They would want some amount of that back. Lukaku has confirmed that it's down to the two clubs now. Speaking to Sky Italia, Lukaku confirmed his desires for the future to stay at Inter Milan. The Belgian striker wants to be at the club for a long time. I want to stay at Inter for a long time. From this year my son also plays for Inter youth team and it will be amazing to continue here. We will talk with Chelsea at the end of the season to try to reach a solution. Lukaku's asking price has likely dwindled, and Chelsea would be lucky to get £50 million for him due to his injuries this season and performances. A 1-year extension on the loan with an option to buy or obligation to buy at the end is not out of the question, but Chelsea may want the player off their books altogether. Talks will take place at the end of the season, and Romelu Lukaku's future is expected to be a lot more clearer in June. Chelsea's pursuit of Enzo Fernandez is now really advanced. Chelsea's pursuit of Enzo Fernandez has been described as really advanced, and the deal is moving closer to being completed. Chelsea are pushing alongside Enzo Fernandez for the deal to happen. The fate of the deal ultimately lies with Benfica and what they decide to do, but the feeling is the growing pressure and the fact the deal is near impossible to turn down is forcing the hand of the Portuguese team. A final answer is expected soon by Benfica. According to Fabrizio Romano on his YouTube channel, Chelsea's pursuit of Enzo Fernandez is now really advanced. The player is now pushing to join Chelsea. Chelsea are also pushing for the player to join them. The decision lies with Benfica. Benfica originally did not want to sell Enzo Fernandez in January unless the release clause was met. Chelsea are paying more than the release clause in order to be able to pay in a more preferable manner. The Portuguese club were caught off guard by the bid from Chelsea, and it is now completely their decision. Ben Jacobs has stated that Chelsea are awaiting feedback from Benfica regarding the deal. Chelsea are confident they will sign Enzo Fernandez, and everything at the moment is pointing towards that happening. The only way the deal falls apart is if Benfica refuse to sell, which, considering how much the player is pushing, seems very unlikely at this stage.